We're going to chapter 26, inflation causes and effects. So we're going to start with inflation itself and the causes. So when I talk about inflation, inflation simply means a persistent rise in the general price level. That means price continue to rise over time in a country. Like Libya, for example, or the price of goods and services continue to rise over time. That is what inflation is about. I think it's clear. Then we have deflation, which is the opposite of inflation. That means a persistent fall in the general price level. So if price continue to rise over time, it is inflation. And if price continue to fall over time, we call it deflation. Then we have hyperinflation. For hyperinflation, it simply means a high level of inflation, maybe 50% in prices. And how to calculate inflation, we have to use consumer price index. We talked about that before, CPI. So we go to causes of inflation. So here I wrote, inflation can be caused by two main factors. One, which is too much demand in the economy or rising cost. So too much demand within the economy simply talks about an increase in aggregate demand in the economy. So that will bring about demand pull inflation. So that takes us to demand pull. I wrote demand pull. An increase in demand with no response to supply will bring about a rise in price. So if demand is increasing and supply is not responding to that increase, then there will be excess demand within the economy. And that brings about increase in aggregate demand. And if aggregate demand increases, it will lead to demand pull inflation. You get the point here, please? Okay. So for demand pull inflation, I wrote, demand pull inflation is caused by excess demand within the economy as a result, bringing about a rise in the average level of price in the economy. So when there's demand pull inflation, it will definitely bring about an increase in the average level of price within the economy. So what are the reasons why we could have demand pull inflation? Number one, low interest rates. When I talk about interest rate simply means the price of borrowing or the reward for saving. So if interest rate within the economy reduces, a fall in interest rate means the cost of borrowing has reduced. And if the cost of borrowing reduces, it means a lot of people will have the opportunity to borrow more, to spend. So consumption would increase because purchasing power within the economy would increase. So people have access to credits. So having accessibility to credit means you can as well spend as much as you can. That will bring about increasing demand within the economy. Is it clear? Mm-hmm. Two, firms may increase their spending on investment. Firms do buy too. Not only consumers that buy, firms also invest. They buy components, they buy raw materials to become finished goods. Yes or no? Mm-hmm. So, firms may increase their spending on investment. This may be as a result of responding to high demand of consumers as a result increasing the capacity of operations. Because the demand, we said it's demand pull inflation. So firms must respond to that increasing demand. They must try to ensure they increase their capacity so that they can meet up with the needs of consumers. So to do this, they might have to employ more workers, which increases their cost. Which they might have to increase whatever they use, and that might increase the prices for such thing. So it's about the demand itself, bringing about increasing price. So firms now demand for more. They demand for maybe more labor. They demand for maybe more equipment. They demand for more raw materials to meet up with the increasing demand within the economy. So in the course of increasing these demands, firms over there would also increase their prices. So that brings about increasing aggregate demand through the firms. Do you get the point here? The third one, government increasing its spending or cutting taxes. Government might increase subsidies. So if government is increasing subsidies, it means it will bring about deflation. But deflation would happen if demand starts falling or supply starts increasing. So you won't talk about deflation here. So we're talking about inflation. So if government increases subsidy, it means prices for goods and services would reduce. As a result of that, demand would increase. So the response over time, we'll talk about deflation. But here, it's about inflation, which simply means a fall in price leading to an increase in demand. So if the cost of production falls, based on the fact that government has increased subsidy, it means prices would fall. An increase in the price level, a fall in the price level will bring about increasing aggregate demand. So do you get the point here? So if government increases subsidies, it reduces prices, demand will increase. If government cuts taxes, let's say income tax, so that means disposable income would increase. People will have more money to spend. That would also increase demand. So just try to avoid using cost or supply in this situation. It's strictly about demand. So you just have to talk about a low price, because a low price will bring about a high demand based on the law of demand. It is only when the price is low, the quantity demanded increases. So our point here is reasons why we have an increase in demand. Do you get it? So increasing subsidy means prices fall, supply would reduce, so demand would increase. Cutting taxes, income tax, will mean disposable income would increase, purchasing power would increase, people will buy more. So these are reasons why we have demand pull inflation. Do you get it? And the last one here is about the world demand for a given country export. If demand for a country's export increases based on the fact that there is a boom within the economy, economic activity is improving all over the world, that would also increase demand. That will bring about inflation. So demand is increasing here. Response is that an increasing price. Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Any question about that?
No.
Okay. So we'll go to cost push. For cost push inflation, I wrote, this may occur because of changes in the supply side. So for cost push inflation, it's simply the supply side of the economy. Are you with me? Are you with me, please?
Yes.
Okay.